I want to welcome you. Today's webinar is brought to you by the LACUE Association, and one of the things we want to make a plug for is for the upcoming LACUE conference. We hope that all of you that are in attendance tonight are going to make an effort to attend the conference. It's December 7th through the 9th in New Orleans, and by far it is one of the best conferences that our state has to offer. And this year we have the opportunity to have some great speakers that are going to be with us. For one, Tony Vincent is going to be with us, and it's just going to be an outstanding 3-day conference. The other thing is we do want to pay acknowledgement to Education Alexander for providing the Adobe Connect platform for us to be able to conduct this webinar this evening. Tonight, guys, your presenter and host wearing two hats is myself, Pam Nicholson. I am a tech trainer in Calcasieu Parish. I have been in education for now 28 years. I've kind of worn a variety of hats ranging from I started out as a middle school math and science teacher, and then I moved, I was a counselor for a while, and then I was an assistant principal for several years, and then the rest of my time I've been a technology facilitator. So what I laugh and tell my 19-year-old daughter is your mama just didn't know what she wanted to do when she grew up, so kind of did a variety of things. But I want to thank you for taking time to come out tonight. And basically what we're going to do, the title of this webinar is the ABCs of Tech Integration. And basically what I've done is I've just kind of gone through and I've taken some things that I basically like, and what I want to look at is just kind of share with you some of the things that have worked really well for us when we've gone through and looked at tech integration. And so what I'm going to do is basically go to my presentation and share it with you. And in the link, I've given you access to this presentation, so you'll have the full ability to get everything that we've gone over this evening. So just give me 1 second. And I just jumped on to another computer and got logged off of a couple of things. So okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And one of the things that we did is we just simply, came up with this presentation, and it's just a showcase of tech tools. And right now, what we've done is we've put some of our favorite ones that we kind of enjoy using. And if you look at this, can you name each? And it's just kind of, if you look up there, can you name each of those icons? And I must admit that, you know, as much as I live and breathe technology, there were a couple up there that I really wasn't familiar with. And so I just kind of wanted to go around and just kind of let you look at that for a second. And when we look at the next slide, when we look at the next slide, it shows us what all of those are. So it gave you the answers to the information that was there, and just kind of like just as a showcase to get started. But guys, one of the things that we've got to always think about is, at least, even though in our day of time, I remember growing up, B was for boy. Okay, and it's definitely changed as we looked at this, but at least A will and always be still for apple. So as we go through and we look at, and I don't know much about my audience this evening, one of the things that I do know is that I laugh and share with people that, technology was not always in the forefront of my life. Like I can still remember life before the internet. And it's not time for a good old days story, but it's just time for me to share with you some of the tools that I share with teachers and some of the tools that I just kind of use in my personal life. So with that, we're going to just kind of go through. We're going to start with A is for app tonight. One of the things that kind of is really overwhelming to me is Apple says that there are 80,000 educational apps available in the App Store. So what I kind of want you to do, guys, is just in the chat box, tell me, what's your favorite go-to app? Just to get a little interaction going on. What's your favorite go-to app? Look at there, guys. Look at all of you chiming in. Yeah, so Paula, yes, Paula, thank you for reminding us about International Dot Day. Super, super cool. I love Quiver. And all of our teachers that we show Quiver to, because of the component with the Dot Day, Quiver is just, it's a phenomenal augmented reality app. And one of the easiest ways, guys, if you're not familiar with it, is it'll make color sheets come to life for your kids. And today we did some training with some science teachers, and we shared with them Kahoot, and how cool. Wait, I can't wait to tell them, Paula, that we were talking about, we were talking about SAMR and how it reached into the R level, to the redefinition level, and even when you start looking at using it with a group and a class in India, making that connection. How cool. Neat, neat, neat. Yes. Okay. And guys, another one, like for me, just to kind of tell you, today we were working with teachers, and the teachers, we had some model teachers come in, and they shared some things that they do with their class. And it was so cool. The science teacher shared with me about how she uses Telegami. And the thing I want to brag about, most of you are familiar with the app Telegami that lets you make, the free one, lets you make a 30-second video and recording of information. And so what the teacher did, the science teacher, and I thought it was so cool, her kids had done bug races, and they had made, as the bug moved, they made the dot, and they plotted, so when the bug got taken away, they were left with the graph. And so what they did is, with their iPad, they took a picture of the chart paper, of the graph, and then they put that in Telegami. So what it did is, that was in the background, and then the kids were like, it was a avatar, and so they were interpreting the data of the graph in their Telegami, and they saved it as a video. And that's what she was telling me. She said, science teachers teach a class in 47 minutes, and we laugh about it, but she said when you let the kids do a 37-second, video like that, it is something that's very doable. And so she reminded us that, sometimes, we've kind of lost track and moved on from Telegami, but sometimes we have to be reminded that those basic, quick and easy apps are the ones. The A is for app. because the whole point we were trying to make with this is 80,000. None of us have time to go through and look at 80,000 apps. And so one of the sites that I've come across is this site that's called Best Apps for Kids. And so when we go to that site, one of the things that you can do is you just, when you close out of it, and it seems it's a little delayed, so I'm trying to be very cautious of that as I talk. But now when we go in here, we can look at, I just love it because we can look at it by ratings, we can look at it by education, we can look at it by category. There's just a wide variety of ways that we can search for that, what we want. And just kind of a neat thing, like one of the things I like is right here. I know Paula just mentioned they had a pre-K class. Come celebrate with them, and look right here, best back to school apps for preschool. Eve asked me, does it include apps for Android? That's what I'm looking for you. Can you tell that our district is very much iPad based? Parenting advice, apps. Look, let's go to about. Welcome. I started this blog. You will find that kids take to the iPhone apps like a duck to water. It looks like that mostly this site is going to be directed at iPhone apps. We are going to talk in a little bit about another site that's more specific, that's more global to this. Okay, but just a really neat site. Like I like to go to the 5-star apps because that's the best of the best, is kind of like what this site's gleaming from, and then it just kind of lets you search for the ones that, so kind of a neat stop for kids. Okay, the next one, B is for blogs. Now, on this one, guys, I'm not talking about having your kids blog. I'm looking at B is for blogs as a tip for your personal learning. And that's one of the things, is one way to stay up on the latest is to read some well-known EdTech leaders' blogs. And guys, some of the ones that I put up here are just kind of like for those of us who have been around. Like I always talk about that one day I want to grow up and be like Kathy Schrock. And there are several people that I just really would love to grow up to be like. And I kind of just put some of my favorite ones up here that I kind of follow all the time. Because I can't read everything all the time. But like if I can go to some of them and look at them every now and then I can be able to do that. And basically this screenshot that's taken right here, these are the ones that in the link on your screen that you see, Kathy Schrock Guide to EdTech Blogs, these are the ones that she kind of recommends. And so whatever, if you're new to EdTech, or if you're looking to want to give some new teachers, some people who are good to follow, then this would be kind of a good list. And we're going to talk about in a minute another way to help you curate all the information that you get. The next one I put on here is digital citizenship. And guys, the one thing that kind of concerns me, and we are doing a big push in our district right now, we're even writing some curriculum on this, is our kids don't understand that clearing your cache, or they're so used to Snapchatting and thinking that just because it's there for a little bit of time that then it goes away. And it doesn't really do that. And they don't understand at all about your digital footprint. And what I did for you is, I know we don't have time to explore it, but in my presentation, this link goes to one of my favorite things, which is now Common Sense Media. And Common Sense Media has this video that talks to kids about the fact that every time they post, whether it's in Snapchat, Facebook, or anywhere, that they are leaving a digital footprint. And, you know, one of the things that I guess it really hit home, and I don't know if it's this video or another video that I watched, it asked the kids to take a poll, and it said, did your mama take a picture of you and send it to everybody when you were born? And then it says, if you answered yes, then your digital footprint started at that moment in time. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know, how neat is that to put it in that perspective? And so that's kind of been one of the things that we've been starting to do. Paula mentioned that they teach their students digital footprints and digital citizenship. One of the things that we do is right now our teachers have to go through a bullying course every year, and our teachers go through a digital citizenship course. So we've had the PD for them, and so what we're looking at now though is writing the lessons for a K-5, 6, 8, and 9, 12 that we're going to deliver to those. Oh look, Paula made a very good point. If mom posted that sonogram pic, it started before birth. And that's so true. And that's just some of the things we don't think about. And so in the presentation, what I gave you is this link right here, kind of was the article 9 resources for teaching digital citizenship. That's kind of where we brainstormed and started our action with what we were going to do, and just gave us some good information. But if you're in the need for resources, like I said, I did that link for digital footprints to the Common Sense Media video, because they have a lot of very interesting information for us to use there, and it's all free information for us to use. Okay, this one, D is down for everyone. I don't know if you know about this, but this is just so sweet. And so one of the things that you do is when you go, it's just a website, and it's called Is Up Me. And so what you do, for example, if I just type in cpsb.org, and then I say, is cpsb.org down for everyone or just me? And look, it comes back and says, it's up. Check another site. It's just you. That site is up. So one of the things that this is so cool for, and I'll share with you what happened, is one night I was trying to get to Education World, and I didn't know what was going on, and it would not come up, and it would not come up. And then I remembered, I'm like, oh Pam, try that site again. And I went to it, and it said, it's not you, it's down. So it just saved me a lot of time. So kind of just a neat way to kind of look at, even especially if you're in a school, and sometimes you wonder, is this impacting our whole school, or is it just me right now, or what's going on? So like I said, down for everyone is just kind of a neat site, little site that we've kind of learned about. E. We said E is for evidence and exit tickets. And that's one of the things we have been trying very hard to talk with our teachers about, is that there are so many tools out there that you can use with your kids that will give you quick information about where you need to pick up tomorrow. And guys, I just put 3 up here. I could really right now just forget the rest of the alphabet from F to Z and talk about these 3 wonderful tools, because this is the deal why I like these 3 wonderful tools. Every one of them can be used without kids having to log in, and they can be used in just a variety of ways. And I'm just going to kind of, just give you a little bit of explanation, because like I said, I can't stay here all day on this, but I really could. We used all three of these tools just today in our training with teachers as we were trying to show them quick and easy ways that we could use tools as exit tickets and to find out where we need to pick up tomorrow. And so, for example, the first one that we used, kind of like just as a way of gathering information, and many of you were like myself and you were trained in the quality framework. And so one of the things for quality is you always have a parking lot. Well, what we've done is we just now use today's Meet as our electronic parking lot. And so what we did today before the teachers could leave, before they could go home, is that they had to tell us one thing that they loved about that we did, and then tell us what do you want to make sure we explain to you. And like you see, I hope you address Windows 10. Our new computers now have Windows 10. They were a little freaked out today. But guys, you can see that right now, I know exactly. Look, I've got a teacher that wants to know more about Nearpod. We didn't teach Nearpod today. We delivered a lesson as part of the session in it. So I know they liked it. So that's what we're going to go back to. So just very quickly tonight, as I revamp for tomorrow, what is it that we did well? What do we still need to do? And the thing I love about today's Meet, it doesn't require a true login. We can be compliant with Act 837 because we can make up our naming. And then like Paula said, love that students can reply to Padlet. That was another thing that we did today with our teachers. One of the things we did is when we were introducing them to the pedagogy of SAMR, we had them use a Padlet, and they submitted to the Padlet areas that they thought certain tools were. And I thought we had that Padlet link posted in here, but I'm not seeing it to be able to show you guys that. Right there. No. Okay. But anyway, so Padlet is really cool and can be used just for that, is for that you can see kids can respond and do certain things without logging in. And so, for example, when I log in to my Padlet, no, I thought I cleared it because we're using it again. So even if I did something like this, just simple exit ticket, name one thing you learned today. All you do is you give the kids the URL, they click on the URL, then they can come in and they can tell you, I learned about today's Meet. And then they could give their name. And then boom, you know, now you would want them to use a nickname if you're to be compliant with Act 837. So all of these guys are just super, super easy. Another one that we've kind of fallen in love with to use a lot with teachers is Poll Everywhere. It's just because of all the variety things. I, as the teacher, log in, but my kids don't have to log in. They just need the link. And it just has come so far. One of the things that we can do in Poll Everywhere that I just kind of want to show you, and it just cracks me up that all these tools are free. So like when I come here, one of my favorite ones that we've done is this one right here. It says which child represents which child represents you with regards to your technology skill. And so what we do is, all the teachers do is they go to this website that I give them, or I have it where it's clickable, and then they get on their device, this picture shows up, and they click and it records which picture is them. So like if we just come right here and I activate my poll, this right here gives me the little indication. So maybe today I'm feeling like this one. So I just casted my vote and now it's on top of there. And I could then say, well, why did you pick F? Well, because I feel like I can help some people, but I'm still not way up at the top. I have so much room to grow on. So if you imagine, guys, this is not content specific, but imagine if you put a map, or if you put a picture of a cell, or anything that you put up there, and you had the kids be able to respond as a clickable image. You know, if you were doing the parts of the cell, you could say, what's the part that is the powerhouse of the cell? And then hopefully they would identify the nucleus. So just very easy to do. You know, a lot of you have seen this picture and had this picture done in many places. And it's just real simple. And Jill just said poll everywhere would be fun with my first graders. And Jill, that's the whole thing. That's why I chose to do this one, because sometimes we leave out our lower level. When I was introduced to Poll Everywhere, it was done as a multiple choice question. And that's like only one aspect of it. It has so many different types of polls. You can even then do, the other one is there's the chance to do free text. I'm going to try to see if I still have. This one was kind of neat that we did. We did this with some new teachers. We said, what's the major feeling that would come over you if your student teacher or cooperating teacher began the conversation? We need to talk. And so all they did was they text in their answer. Shows that the older, more than one person said them. So that was kind of all this is this is the option to take text answers and word seed them. So kind of a neat thing to do. So when you look at it, guys, when you go to the polls and you go to create, you know, you just type in your question and then you just go through the different types that you want to. Just such a neat tool. And so kind of wanted to share that with you. So just again, guys, we just want to think about the fact that we want to be sure that we use our technology to get that quick and instant feedback, because I can get feedback from them without ever logging into anything, with them out not having to log into it. This is one of my discoveries that I made probably about 6 months ago, and it's called Feedly. And what Feedly lets me do is, remember a while ago when I did B is for blogs? Well, what Feedly is going to let me do is take all of those things and coordinate them into one spot. So when I go to Feedly, what it lets me do is I log in, I create an account. And so now, guys, what you can see is over here on the left side, you can see where I follow Kathy Schrock, and then I've got free technology tools, and then the 2 cents worth, and always learning. And so what happens is when I click on that, it populates right there to here. So when I go to Kathy Schrock's, everything's populated to right here. So when I go here, I know that her last one was on September 3rd. So I know I can either go ahead and read this one if I hadn't, or I know that I'm up to date. So 2 cents worth, I can come here and just know that where everything he's been posting has been coming to. And so what's real easy is all you have to do is basically what you do is you can come in here and you can go to go back up to discover and follow, and then or like if you just wanted to come to education, if you wanted to come to education, then you could come look in here and kind of look to see if there's anybody new that you want to follow. And so as you, like here we go to tools for self-management. If you kind of want to read about it and see if that's something you're interested in, you just kind of look on them. And you look at this one, how to create simple comics on Pixton, and you decide that you like that, or if you don't like it, you don't have to keep it. The ability to either bookmark it or save it for later to come back to. So if you don't have time, I can just save it for later, and then I know I'll be able to come back and look at it. So Feedly's kind of a neat little site to kind of help get us all organized. Okay, again, G, and don't laugh at me, I stretch some of these. G, Common Sense Graphite. I love graphite because what graphite does is it's basically helping teachers find out what's good. And it's kind of been where I send teachers to find out where they can go and see what tools are great to use. But it's not just that. But one of the things that you know is when you come to this site, is digital citizenship. And so when I come in here, I can go in and I have the ability to browse by subject. So if I'm looking for something in science, I can come in here and it'll have what's new. But then I can come down here and I can do by grade level. And so what it's going to do is if I want to look at, when I go to 6-8, it's going to share with me, like right here, Science Journal. Turn your Android into a lab sensor to collect and analyze data. And then this is what's cool, guys, when you go in there to read it. So when I go in to click on it, and I think I locked up, but right now, notice that Common Sense gives it a rating of, teachers give it a rating of 5 stars. So it gives me some information about it, and then I'm not sure why it's not letting me. Okay, when all else fails, right click and open in a new tab. Now I get to get some more information, and I can see price is free, subject, standards, and then this is what I like, pros, a free alternative to expensive classroom lights, sound, and motion sensors. Then the cons, not all students have an Android phone, which is a good point. And so then it comes in, and then you can look at the people from Common Sense. They will always give their star ratings based on engagement, pedagogy, and support. And then here is the comments of how teachers are going to be using it. So kind of neat. And then if you scroll down and it's something there is a lesson plan for, it's going to be right there. So kind of a neat tool. So if you haven't check this out. Common Sense Education, which was formerly Graphite, is a neat place to go kind of try to find some new tools and some things for you to be able to use. H is for Horizon Report. This was just kind of neat, guys, because again, it was for us to be able to kind of just stay on the cutting edge and see what was out there. You know, one of the things, you know, we talk about kind of like, and I like it, it's a Horizon Report that looks at the trends in education and then also for a lot of different things. But one of the things that I liked about the developments in technology for education, BYOD is still out there. A lot of people looking into maker spaces, 3D printing, and you know, that's one of the things we're hearing so much new information about is the 3D printing. I know even in our district, we have one of our schools that the middle school, no, the high school kids, sorry, they have a 3D printer and they are designing a 3D printed prosthetic hand for one of the elementary kids that's at a neighboring elementary campus. And last week they went and took the measurements of the kid's hand and made the model, and so now they're beginning the work on it. So kind of a neat concept. So this article, this Horizon Report, gives you some more information about that. Then one of my other favorites is digital badges. We hear a lot of things about that. And this summer when we worked tech camp, we had I had 40 fifth graders that were with me for the week, and as part of tech camp, their tuition gets them a laptop that they get to take home. But one of the things we did is as they went through the week and completed tasks, they got badges. So like we did like a breakout EDU badge, we did a coder badge, we did a Sphero driver badge. And it was amazing to watch what kids would do for a badge. And what we did is we just, as they earned the badge, we dropped them on a certificate that at the end of the week we just printed their badges for them. And guys, ours wasn't real high tech. We did it just as a Google slide to make their certificate and just drop the badges on there. Every camper had a slide that was their certificate in our big presentation, and we just dropped them on their slide as they earned it. And so like the kids made up a coder name and a gamer name for the week, and that's what they kept on there. And so it was amazing, like again, to watch and see digital badges in action. I is for interactive whiteboards. And guys, one of the things that I kind of just put is some of the things, not so much whether you have Promethean or Smart, we don't want to debate that tonight, but one of the things I did is just kind of gave you 3 resources that you might find very, very beneficial for finding some neat things. Interactive sites for education, Weebly is awesome. So basically what this site does is if you've never visited it, it'll let you search for sites that just become interactive. So then you can call your kids up to the board and let them begin to interact with a website. And this just has every category that's there. And then my other favorite right now, because we have so many, we're doing so much training in science, is the interactive simulations out of Colorado, the University of Colorado. These are really neat and work really great with your interactive whiteboards. J is just for fun. Because I thought about it and I thought, okay, we got to take a break sometime. And so I just wanted to kind of talk to you about a couple of things. And some of these are specific to our area, but some of them are not. One of my favorite ones, guys, if you don't know about it, and if you're an avid reader, there's a site called eBookBike, And what eBook Bike is it's a website that has downloadable books that you can download and read on your iPad. And basically, sometimes they'll have, like, if you're a fan of James Patterson has allowed some of his books to be up there. Nicholas Sparks has some of his up there. So kind of a neat resource, just if you're into reading and want some neat books. For us, our Calcasieu Parish Public Library has a lot of neat ebooks and that we can check out. And I share with my teachers how much I love it, because I'm never going to get a late fine from the library, because it's going to disappear off of my device in 2 weeks. But my other favorite one, if you're into reading, guys, you need to subscribe to BookBub. And what BookBub does is BookBub sends me, once I register for it, it sends me an email every day, and it tells me what ebooks are going on sale. And it tells me if it's free from Amazon, if it's free from iTunes, or one other place. And so it just sends me, like I told it, I wanted some fiction books, I wanted mystery, and I think I did cookbooks. So every day I get just those things, and it'll tell me which ones are free or which ones have gone down to maybe 99 cents or something like that. So kind of a really neat thing. If you can't tell, guys, I do like to read. Now, Mahjong, and I always forget about, but it's like the Chinese game, guys, but only it's math. And so what happens is when I click on play, oh wait, I clicked on the wrong one. I don't want to play that. I want to play Mahjong. Why is my Mahjong not loading today? My Mahjong is wanting to be slow. And it's not wanting to load. But what Mahjong is basically it will load in a minute, and basically instead of matching the Chinese tiles, you have to form a mathematical expression. Let's see if this happens to be the problem. Okay, it's something probably on our end, but anyway, Mahjong is really neat, and basically what it lets you do, like I said, the numbers drop in, and then it gives you the ability to go through and make an equation, and you score more points as you use up the tiles, and the more complicated your mathematic expression becomes. But it's kind of one of my neat sites. I lose track of time with it. iPad entertainment, I kind of put in there, guys, two of them that kind of have gotten my attention. Word Race and Stop It are kind of fun activities that a couple of us play with, because you're just kind of developing some skills. Okay, we've already kind of talked about, guys, most of you in here know about Kahoot, and I know that's not a real word, so please understand if you're an English teacher. I know Kahooted isn't a word, but it's still, I know there's other ones like Socrative and Quizzes, and every one of them has its own unique feature, but Kahoot to me was kind of like one of the first ones that I came into, and I love it. And so if you've never done a Kahoot, it's really cool. Kids fall in love with it. If you're familiar with Kahoot, I love Kahoot discussion. Now, I'll tell you guys that when I first looked at the discussion, I didn't understand it, because with Kahoot discussion, you give the kids one multiple choice question, and everybody goes, multiple choice is not a discussion. Well, what you do, for those of you who like Kagan is my favorite strategy. I love Kagan strategies. Well, if you know about four corners, what we did today is what you do is you give your kids a choice. For example, it may be something like fall, winter, summer, spring. Which season is your favorite season? They use Kahoot and they vote. And then what you do is when the results come up, it shows the bar graph of how you voted. And then you tell your kids, all of you who liked fall, go to the left corner. All of you who like summer, go to the right. All of you who like spring, go to the back. All of you who like winter, go to the other corner. And then when the kids get in their corners, you have them then talk about, why did you like that type of year? Why did you pick that type? Let them all have their round robin to talk, and then you get somebody to speak out. And then when fall shares why they like it, then you call on summer for summer to tell you what fall said. And then you kind of complete the process. And then the last thing is you say, based on our good conversations that we've had, is there anyone who wants to change groups? And sometimes you will have kids move around. So that's what the discussion is. I love it. If you like I know I shared that very quickly. If you like that, if you guys will email me, I will send you how we do Kahoot discussion in line, step by step, with the Kagan strategy. But it's always made for a very neat conversation. And Paula's sharing some links for the Kahoot videos. And Paula talked about the Kahoot that they did with the class in India and how cool that would be. I just think that would be so cool. Our teachers here today talked about the fact that what they want to do is they're going to start Kahooting across the district. So we've got a couple of middle school science teachers that are going to get together and Kahoot at the same time. So like their kids' names, and they talked about doing the team mode, because that was great for classrooms that didn't have a lot of devices. So like they could be, if one of our teams are called Colts, and so they're going to be like Colt 1, and then the other ones are the Tours, and they'll be like Tours 1. And then when you do the team mode, like when you make Tours 1, then you add the 4 kids that are part of Tours 1. So kind of a neat way, and then you can just pass the iPad between the two. And then the last one is blind Kahooting. I am falling in love with that. That's where you use Kahoot to introduce a topic, not to assess the topic at the end. And when you go here, the article is there in the video. They've even now made a blind Kahoot template. And that it goes through, and if you use the template and copy it to your account, it will walk you through to the level or the type of question that you need to ask. L is for Learning Management System. I put a plug, just so you know, for us. If you couldn't tell, for us, our LMS in Calcasieu is Blackboard. Guys, but no matter what LMS your district has, one of the things we like about it is how cool it is. You can embed so much content in it. We were talking about it today, even with our teachers. We now embed our Google slide presentations into our LMS, because if I make a change somewhere in my Google Drive, it updates it everywhere that I've posted it. Padlets can be embedded into your LMSs, Today's Meet, even Prezzies. And that's what a teacher showed us, how she embedded a Prezi into her Blackboard site, and the kids navigated through it, and she embedded questions for the kids to answer. And then they also had that when they went home. And being that when we embed a Google slide presentation or a Prezi into our LMS, then we're not making our kids have any special software when they get home. And so, just very neat. And Paula said that she uses Edmodo as her LMS. Google, yeah, Desiree says Google Classroom is awesome. Yeah, and Desiree, we kind of I just kind of chunk Google Classroom as being an LMS, and because of as far as it's come. Just kind of a neat thing, and just for whatever one platform your district has, is just taking it to that next level to be able to do that. M is for mobile devices. Guys, one of the two things I wanted to share with you for this one, kind of on my platform a little bit, and basically the two options. You have the option for an Apple TV. For us in Calcasieu, it's available as a trade-in on Tech Points. Our teachers get Tech Points for coming to after-hours tech classes, and they can redeem them for some equipment. So 1 hour is 1 Tech Point, and so to get an Apple TV is 10 Tech Points. Or we talk to them about purchasing it. Because a lot of our people still think that they need an Apple TV just to get Netflix. Well, if you get an Apple TV, you're not watching Netflix in Calcasieu Parish. But what you can do is it allows you to project your iPad through AirPlay. And so then the kids can demonstrate what they've done on their device, on the iPad there. Our other one that we kind of like, that we use a lot, is called Air Server. And Air Server is actually software that you purchase. And when you purchase that software, notice that I told you, the quantity breaks down the price. And this is the educational price. And so for $12, you can get what's called Air Server. Now, let me see, give me a second, guys, and see how proficient. I may not be proficient enough to do this. Hold on one second. Oh, I did do it. That's kind of scary. Okay, don't laugh at me, guys. Getting used to Adobe Connect. So if you notice in the center of my screen, you're now looking at my iPad, okay? And so what I did is I have Air Server loaded on my computer. And so what it allows me to do is my iPad is really talking to my computer, but then it's projecting. If I had my computer hooked to a projector, it would project through the projector. And so whatever I want to show on my iPad, I can show on my iPad, and it's going to project. So if I want to go to Gale Group, I can go to Gale Group, and I can show everything that I want to through that app. And so it would just work the same way as Air Server. So anything that I want to go through and do on here, I'm just able to navigate my iPad the normal way, and it's just going to show up. So Air Server is one of my favorite things, and like I said, we gave you the link for it, and it's just airserver.com. You download the software, and then you install it on your computer, and then what it does is, if you look right there, this little icon right here is my Air Server icon, and it allows me to then project my device just by going to AirPlay, and my host name of my computer now shows up, and it connects straight to my computer. So not bad for $11.99. And it's pretty stable. Pretty stable connection. And then all I have to do is just exit out. This newest version of Air Server, what's kind of neat about it, it will allow you to connect more than one iPad at a time. So kind of a neat thing. So kind of my little plug for wanting to be able to display that. Okay. Oh, missed it. Oh, yeah. I was like, okay, where am I? Okay. My next one to share with you, if I quit being clicker happy, I did two. I did N is for News ELA, and then what happened is when I made my presentation, they said, oh, Pam, N just needs to be for news, and you need to share with them about student CNN news. So it's so cool. Student CNN News, when you go to that site, and you want to make sure, guys, please make sure you preview it before you showed it to your kids. Not that I've ever seen anything that's not appropriate, but that's just always one of my disclaimers that I make for. But it's always written for kids, and it's always written it's always a video that's in a short amount of time. So it's not long. And notice that it is for middle and high school kids. So just keep that in mind, okay? But it is one of my favorite news because it's current events. And it's hard to get kids all excited about current events. The other one that I put in here is one of my favorite, News ELA. If you haven't used News ELA, so sweet, without even paying for it. And we use this today with our teachers. But for example, if you had your kids reading an article, and I was just going to pick on one, and this one, probably not that exciting, but this one is real and it's on display, The Store Locks Monster. Well, what's so cool about it, guys, when I clicked on it, notice that I can click on max. That's the maximum reading level. Well, one of the things that I can do is at that point, I can sign in. I'm not going to sign in for you. I only have the free account. I can sign in and get the free article. Let me go ahead because, okay, so here's the free article. It says the max is a grade level 12 reading level with 620 words. Well, look, if I click 820L, I just dropped it down to a 5th grade reading level and knocked it down to 583 words. And guess what? I didn't lose any of the content. And the article still looks the same. So for differentiating of instruction, I went for my kids who were at a 12th grade reading level to one that's at a 5th grade reading level, but by all aspects, the article looks the same. And I can even drop it down to a 3rd grade reading level. And guys, I don't know about you, but I'm not that proficient at being able to do that. And Paula corrected me, and thank you, Paula. I forget about that too. I was told it's Newzella, and that's how they want it to be pronounced, and I do. Gosh, they even wore T-shirts. I bet so. I know, because they do. They get very upset because, to me, and I know why they do that, because I shared with you that we just used this with our science teachers today, and that's the whole thing. If we say News ELA, they feel like that it's only a resource for our ELA teachers, but it's not. So it is Newzella, and I do apologize. But I love it. And our Spanish, we have Spanish immersion teachers, and they just about lost their minds today. Um, because one of the things that they did is they clicked on Spanish and it converted it. And so, kind of a neat thing. So, kind of like one of our favorite go-to. Guys, I don't have a pro account, so I don't ever talk about those things. I just do that basic because I log into my account and then I just go with the reading ability level because that's always been with what I was interested in. Okay. So two neat resources to keep your kids up to date for current events. O is for online collaboration. A couple of things, guys. We've already talked about Padlet in today's meet. We even kind of talked with you about how we've done some Google Slides without signing in. So basically, again, we create the slide presentation and then we give the URL out and then the kids can collaborate and begin to work on that. One of my favorites, though, I've fallen in love with Stoodle for online collaboration, especially with iPads. It just gives you an interactive whiteboard where your kids can meet and work on some different things to real-time collaboration. P, don't laugh at me, I'd already used A. P is for plus, AdBlock Plus. Guys, if you're a Google user and you don't have AdBlock Plus installed on your computer as a Chrome extension, you want to be able to do it. I love it because even like some of the sites, I realized today when we were on my Chrome browser and I went to the first one with you, the app review one, and all the IXL advertisement and everything came up. AdBlock Plus will take that away. Okay? And so, but what happened, so you're asking, why did you take it off? The other day I was trying out a site and it told me that if I had AdBlock, it wouldn't work right. So that's why I had uninstalled it and meant to go back and put it on. But I love AdBlock. It's become one of my favorite ones. Q is for quick tips. Guys, one of the things that we need to provide to our kids to put the technology to be in their hands, and this is kind of my platform, and that's the fact that our focus for most of you in here, you're classroom teachers, you're not the tech teacher, and so your focus is the content, and you don't want to lose sight of that. So providing kids with quick tips is a way to do that. And I gave you guys some of the things that we like to use. One of my favorites has become this online voice recorder. Oh my gosh, if you just need an audio recording of something, this online voice recorder, it takes the cake. Because it's no software to install, no login. You just go there and you can make a screen recording. Paula shared that she loves Vocaroo for the little ones, and I like Vocaroo too. That's kind of been one of my favorite go-tos also. Kind of like voice recorder, when I click on it, look, my directions could be to kids or even for me. Hit the red button, allow my microphone, and then boom, it starts recording. And when I'm done, I just hit stop. And I can go back and listen to it or whatever I need to, and then I can save it. And then click to save, and it's going to download as an MP3. Never logged in, never lost any sight of time. So kind of a neat way when we want to give things not as a professional touch. Okay? One that I put up there that a lot of our teachers have started using to make screencasts for their kids is Screencastify. And again, just it can be a Chrome extension, and it'll allow you to just make that screen recording for when you want to be able to show your kids that. Paula made a good point. She said with Vocaroo, how we've never been able to be given how long it remains there. I know I have a Vocaroo that's in an online course that I run that's 3 years old, and it's still there. But it kind of does make me nervous because I don't know how long it'll be there. Yeah. And then Paula talked about Seesaw, and Seesaw is one that's coming around that a lot of people really, really like. So just a couple for you to get quick tips for. R is for recap. Oh my gosh. Guys, if you have not used Recap, Recap is so cool. Recap is an app for the iPads, but what it does is you download the app on your devices, and then you create a teacher account. And what you do is you can use it as an exit ticket. And so what it does is basically on the iPad, the kids launch Recap and they record, and you give them how long? 15 seconds, 20 seconds. You give them the amount of time that you want them to tell you how long they can talk, and then they talk and they give you feedback. So let me go into my account, because then it just loads to the website of Recap. So let me show you just real quick. I don't know if it'll let me show you to play it, because what's so cool is when I come back in, I'm going to just go to the demo class. What happens is my favorite story completed May 31st, 2016. What it does is when the kids were on the iPad, they recorded it, they get out of the app. Then when you log into your account to review the information, this is what you see. So they were asked to do So what it does, guys, and I'm not sure if you're able to hear the audio to it, but what it does is it took them through on the iPad what they wanted to, what their favorite part of what their favorite story was and what's the best part. So they just held the iPad up and they recorded what their favorite part was, and then they walked away. Then at the end of the class, when everybody had done it, Recap pulled it all together and dropped it all into that presentation. So it does it all for you. So what you do as a teacher, if you look back, I told you, you go to Recap and you set up your account. And so what I did is, for example, we did a session, what you talking about, Willis, and I had 20 teachers that came in. And so what they did is, or what they'll do is, I'll send them out the code to the class pin, and when they go into the app, they just enter that class pin, and then on the iPad, they follow the prompt that I created. So kind of a really neat thing to do with your kids. So if you haven't looked at Recap in the app, kind of one of our new ones that we are really, really liking a lot. And recap is one that, oh, and that's the one thing I didn't talk to you about for my first grade teachers that are here with us. Even though like the first one gave you a picture that said, tell about your favorite story, you as the teacher can make that be audio. Audio is gonna, so it can be your voice saying, kids, tell me what your favorite thing you learned today is. And then they just hit record in the app and they go through. So Paula, you said you just installed Recap on your iPad mini. So what you're going to want to do is also go ahead and go to Recap and make your teacher account so that then you can send out, you create the assignment on the main site at Recap, and then you send it to the iPad. Then you send the code to there. Okay. S is for selfie. Guys, one of the things you want to talk about, we talked about this with our teachers. All it takes is one iPad or a computer with the webcam. Let your kids take a selfie and then use those pictures through your presentations throughout the year. We talk about one of the trainings we do with our teachers who have Promethean boards is we even show them how to take those pictures and cut out the background using the pen tool, the camera tool and the pen in Promethean, and then dropping those kids onto their flip charts or into PowerPoints or into anything that they're doing, because then you just make the presentation come alive. So we laugh about selfie being overdone and everything, but it really is a neat way to kind of do that, and kind of makes it so easy to do now with all the devices we have. T is for timer. Guys, one of the things we do, make sure we always want to use a timer. And one of the things that I always forget about, and so that's kind of a couple of things just to share with you, my Google tip. Anytime you need a timer, we know that basically we can just go to Google and do 5 minutes in the search, and it's going to start a timer. So we can always have one ready to go. My iPad device, it's so cool. On my iPad, I can just launch Siri, and I can just say, or on my phone, I can just go, set timer for 5 minutes. And then
5 minutes and counting.
I don't know if you heard him. He's now doing 5 minutes and counting. You can also open up, and this is one of the other things for that you might like, guys, is my tip. If your kids are working on iPads, what you can do is if you go to the clock and you go to the timer, I just got logged out. Hold on. If I go to the clock, and I go to timer, and I set my timer for 1 minute, but what I want to be able to do is at the end, I don't want to do stop play. I want to not have a sound. I want it to do stop playing. And so what's going to happen is when I start that timer and I exit out, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I can go to Tinker. I can be doing whatever I want to. I can leave Tinker, maybe go to Newton for a little bit. And this is going to be like the longest 1 minute of my life. But, I'm just going to try to hang out here in Osmo and do a bunch of things and see what happens. Osmo's going to make some noise for me. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of work on it. And so it just kind of goes through. And so whatever I want to do, and then if I go through something else, and then let me get something open, would y'all notice happen? That's why I hurried up, because I went and checked the timer. At the end, when my minute was up, it went straight to the home screen. And so if you wanted to give kids a reward time and say, Susie, you did so well today, go ahead and I'll give you 3, 4, 5 minutes to play your favorite educational game on the iPad. Then at that 3 or 4 minutes, boom, they're out of it. And it's just a neat time management situation. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, you give credit where credit is due. Guys, U is for understand copyright. And we kind of put in, let me see if this is my, I'm going to play it real quick. No, this is the real one. And that's just a real simple one. One of my favorite copyright videos, though, is at YouTube, and I'll show it with you because it's so funny to show your kids. And if you haven't seen it, here it is. It's called a Fair Use Tale, and basically what it does is it's a short film. Let me see if I can kind of, I'm going to just kind of speed it up a little bit. Here we go. So cool, guys, because as you go through it, all it did was it took the clips to make the point across. It said, what is copyright? And then he comes up and he says, it's the law. And so the whole premise behind it is to talk to you about what can you use and what can you not use. And it's one of the ones that is kind of neat, kind of looking at different things. So kind of a neat idea. Okay. V is for virtual reality. Oh my gosh. Guys, if y'all haven't seen these came out. It's the ViewMaster on steroids. But it's the old-timey ViewMaster, but you put your iPhone in it, and it is so neat. Notice one of the things that you have the ability to do, these were $19 at Walmart and Target, but one of the things we found the other day, they were on sale at Walmart for like $6. So kind of look at Amazon and look around, because basically they will be able to use, even though it comes with its own curriculum, they can use apps from the App Store that deal with virtual reality. And this one right here, this device does do Android devices and iDevices. So kind of a neat way. And it's just kind of, I like this device because it's plastic and it's very, very neat to use. Very good and sturdy device. So it's the ViewMaster, and just kind of look around. What's happened is I think it did not take off in the public sector, and you guys know what happens when that occurs. We get to capitalize on it. So kind of a good deal to be able to get those for your classroom. W is for walk, walk around and monitor. You know, guys, that's one of the things. It's pretty obvious, but we've got to remember, when we put technology in the device of kids, what I tell teachers is that wasn't a time for us to take a break. If it's probably more important than we get up and that we're moving around. And guys, K through 12 students, they are so obvious. If they have a second window open, it's going to be written all over their face. But with you just being up and moving around, that's also going to be a great deterrent for them. X is for extra space or storage. Guys, one of the things that we just got, and it's so cool, it's called an iDrive. I didn't know it existed. I was able to save my photos and videos for my iDevices onto this little iDrive. Okay? And what it allows me to do is it connects to my charging port and then just can copy those off. I love it. So kind of watch. Best Buy and Amazon seem to be having the best deals for those for you. Y is for you ought to be in pictures. Guys, that's the one thing. Keep in mind, if you have an iDevice, don't forget about the video camera that's on there. You can make a quick video tutorial using that right there. And it doesn't, remember, and what I tell my people is when we're making these screencasts or these little quick videos, guys, we're not trying to win the Academy Award. We're not going to walk the red carpet for it. So it's okay if you have a couple of hiccups in it or a couple of bumps. You just want something that's so easy for your kids to do. And lastly, Z is for, and I'm probably going to not pronounce it correctly, Zunol. I just came across it not too long ago, but it lets you, it goes back to the olden days of being at olden days, I'm dating myself, where you can make a web quest for your kids to use. But not only do web quest, you can do all of these other activities, a hangman game, a photo gallery, and you don't even have to write HTML code. So kind of a neat way to go about doing some things to work with it. So guys, I cannot believe I was able to do it. We actually went through the ABCs of technology with 4 minutes to spare. I greatly appreciate you attending tonight. I love the way that you guys interacted in the chat area with us. The couple of things just to remember as I close out some of the many open windows that I have opened up. Please make sure that you do go back and that you click on the presentation link, not the presentation, well yes, that you click on the presentation link, guys, to take the presentation and use. If during at any time, guys, you had a question that I breezed through something and you'd like for me to get to you, just email me. My email is pam.nicholson@cpsb.org. And then the last thing, do not forget, guys, before we break away, where it says sign in here to receive your CLU certificate, be sure that you click there and sign in. Thank you guys so much. Paula, thank you so much. I hope you did. Guys, my takeaway for tonight is this. I know if you got one new idea to add to your bag of tech tools, then to me, it's very successful. I came to present to you, and through the chat, I got a whole lot of more than one new idea. So thank you so much, and we hope to see you guys in the future at some of our other upcoming webinars. Have a great evening, and if you have any other questions, just let me know. And Desiree did put my email in there. Thank you, Desiree, to help you out for that. So that concludes the webinar. So please feel free to exit the webinar and have a great rest of the evening.